Hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Talking Into the Void. And yeah, it's here. They can't hear you because I keep everything else muted because I'm somewhat smirked. But with me, as always, is Tier Alexander. Tier, how you doing?
I'm good, my friend. Yourself?
I was lazy today, but joining us as well is Angela. Angela, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Eh, lazy today. Joining us as well is Will at Forge. Will, how you doing?
Carrying on my theme for the weekend.
Being lazy and doing absolutely positively nothing.
Hey, I
And
loaded the dishwasher.
Oh lordy, that's a lot of work for a cat.
and
I
joining us
even
is
did the dishes.
hey, and joining us as well is Mitch Nemo. Mitch, how you doing?
I am both hunky and dory at the same time.
Oh wow.
Well, so
Wait a
before
minute,
this
Mitch.
before the stream, I had gone through and had found some weird things of because Fortnite is apparently taking the little two-step from Snoop Dogg and throwing it into Fortnite because Fortnite always does that. Someone was trying to say that this was cultural appropriation because it was Crip walking, not realizing that the Crips isn't a strictly black only gang.
Really quickly, right? I have to ask Mitch a question. Are you both fine and dandy?
Nope, I am not both fine and dandy. I'm
Oh,
too thick to be fine.
but you're dandy.
Oh no, I'm not dandy because I'm straight.
Okay. All right. I just thought. All right.
But it's funny because like if you go through and watch the video on there, it's like, dude, that is not a Crip walk. Like the sea walk is a specific thing of where like you actually swing your legs way more than that. This is just like a
I don't
weird
even
ass little
understand the
strut.
reference.
Well, I'll share it with you real quick.
Essentially, Fortnite decided to add more dances to the thing, and
Yeah.
someone is bitching about
Yeah,
how
add more
everything is
emotes. All
cultural
right, and then go
appropriation.
over to this
All right, I'm in.
and where is it? Is it this one? No, that's the wrong thing. Well, sorry.
What?
Well, the video you
It's some
showed
sort of
me
a
is
shuffle.
playing.
Big
Yeah.
deal.
Well,
It's
I'm trying to
literally the
show it in
Pac-Man.
the stream as well.
Oh, I see. It's literally the Pac-Man with your feet in front of each other
There we
instead of
go.
next to each other.
This is all bullshit anyway. Fortnite cut to Kamala and added a Kamala Walls thing where you don't fight, you just stand there and pretend.
Just stand there, and let the people at the border overwhelm you.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then we'll go
You know, the
to
storm comes to
this real
get you and
quick
just a bunch of Mexicans.
and go here.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I should just say. Uh, so yeah, it was a thing. All right, come
I
on.
mean, there are two things that are true when it comes to this stuff. First one, let people have some fucking fun. Second one, there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong thing.
We
Here.
were just going over the dance between Kid and Play, which is just a modified Charleston done back to back.
Yeah.
Like they were on a radio show when they admitted, like, yeah, they're dancing just to
Well,
Charleston.
this
Like,
would be. I mean, granted, this says OG best Crip walk, so we'll see how this one is. Or that.
That might be true, brother, but what these guys were doing did not do.
I mean, either way, most of
This
these are
is
just
very
modified
different.
crap. Yeah, this is.
it looks more like a retard doing a retard dance.
Well, it's Michael Jackson was not the first guy to do the moonwalk either.
No.
He learned it from he was watching a movie. He was watching a movie, and the guy was doing that, and he was the snake, right? And he wanted to
Oh well.
mimic that, so he hired that guy to teach him how to do that.
Yeah. But no
He
one
just popularized it.
no one ever shat on Michael Jackson for for um for making it popular again,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even to this day, we still call it the moonwalk.
Well, my brother says that you're actually supposed to spell out the word "crip" as you can.
Mm-hmm.
for this.
Yeah.
That is not what was happening in that first video usually.
No, I was trying to find something about like I've seen that because like the other thing they typically call it is a sea walk as well, and like yeah, that just
It's still stupid.
yeah.
It seems like such a childish thing to get worked up over.
It's all stupid. I'm so
Like,
tired.
oh no, someone danced the way someone else did. Sons of fuckers.
I'm
Somebody
so
call the
tired.
police. I mean, come on.
The
Get over
word cultural appropriation.
Well, it's people being stupid.
Well, there's nothing new under the sun, as Mitch said, which is a very old statement. And it's totally true. At least if
PG,
you take outside the realm of technology, basically everything's been done before at some point.
Well, yeah. If you look at music, man, every riff has been played in one way or another.
Oh yeah.
There are no new riffs. There are just new ways to express them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
maybe
that's like-
you finger pick it. Maybe you use a pick. Maybe you use a drill. I don't know. Maybe
But-
you use a chainsaw.
Well, that's like my personal favorite is how many people are like, oh, you know, the AK, the communist gun, it's a communist design. It's like, no, it's not. The two most popular designs for guns that everyone talks about are American. Because the AK is just basically an upside down M1 Garand.
Yeah.
It quite literally
Pretty
takes the
much,
action
yeah.
from it. So it's like,
BG writes that. Oh, sorry.
go ahead. I was going to say, it's pretty much that whole thing of being like, oh, it's a common design. It's like, he still stole from the Americans.
Yeah, it's a common design because people got hold of an American model and reproduced it.
BG points out that Michael Jackson also saved the moonwalk for years before busting it out when he felt it would have the most impact.
Mm-hmm. That's not
It's like
surprising.
the 0G lean. Remember when the 0G lean
Mhm.
where he would lean in really close?
Oh yeah, but
you-
that's another one. That's fucking Buster Keaton was doing that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
And he only used the 0G lean when he was performing Smooth Criminal.
Smooth Criminal.
Only time he would never he would never use it for anything else. And I was watching a documentary on the one concert he did where everybody was fucking fainting just by him standing there. How they had specially designed shoes where
Yep.
it was a particular part in the
It's basically
Stage.
there's a bolt in the stage,
yeah.
and the heel of the shoe is hollowed out so that you can back into the bolt and lock the shoe into place, and then you can lean your body in any direction and maintain your position
Yeah. And
without
they
falling
was
over.
yeah, and they were saying like the distraction was like they would have like somebody walk with like a fake bomb, like when the criminals walk around with a fake bomb to get everybody to look that way while they're getting into place.
I mean, it's all illusion, man. It's the same thing as a magic show.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
That was
pay
the whole
no
thing with-
attention to the man behind the mirror.
with Michael Jackson as well, though. He was an entertainer. He didn't try to act like he wasn't.
Yeah. And
Right.
but it got real when they were doing the movie Moonwalker and they did that scene. I loved how low they got because they could do it on camera and like edit out the wires and whatnot they were using.
Oh yeah.
But that shit was amazing.
Remember Captain EO?
Hmm.
Yep.
Yes, actually.
Michael Jackson did a thing called Captain EO. I think it was a performance they did at.
It was
Epcot.
actually
It was a movie
thing
they did at
Disneyland.
Disneyland where it was like a 3D affair, and one of the things they did, they'd had lasers at the bottom of the screen, not just underneath the screen, actually on the stage, and it was a science fiction laser kind of thing, and they would blast the lasers out over the audience's head while you're wearing 3D glasses watching the movie, and it was done to wonderful effect.
It was
It
actually
was really
one of
fun and exciting, even if you're not a Michael Jackson fan.
one of my favorite things to do at Disneyland. I'm the weirdo that like my favorite things at Disneyland were Captain EO, the Mississippi Riverboat, and the People Mover. Actually,
Did you say the People Mover?
yes, I loved the People Mover because it had that part at the end that was the ride through the Tron grid.
Ah,
I loved it.
I never got into such. I've never been a fan of amusement parks.
I like amusement parks,
Even as a
especially.
kid, I'm like, what's the attraction of walking around and standing in line all day?
I loved going to Disneyland. I would go to the other parts of the park, but I would spend like 90% of my time there in Adventureland, which was all like United States history and stuff like that.
Howski.
It was like where it was where the Mississippi River boat was. It was where Frontierland, not
Frontierland, yeah.
not Adventureland. But it had like the Hall of Presidents, and it had the Haunted Mansion, and all of my favorite stuff to do with this. I would go over to Adventureland to do Splash Mountain.
So, yeah, Hall of Presidents, amazing, but at the same time, leave it to Disney to make state-of-the-art animatronics boring.
Yep.
I like history, so I wasn't bored.
I like history, but I got my limits.
It's a weird thing. All of that stuff always bored me as a kid, and the only thing I've really come away with it in my memory is someone insisting on me having a good time with it, and it's like, wasn't that fun? Nah. Even as a kid, I'm like, nah, whatever.
Well, do we want to get angry?
And they just
I'm already
Well,
angry.
dragging me to these things, man.
Yo, you don't like me when I'm angry.
I'm always angry.
Oh, don't get me in a mood like last night.
So we want to talk about Peanut?
Oh God, no.
No.
I hope that bitch that got that poor squirrel or that raccoon killed, I hope she get attacked by the squirrel armada.
I do like
know
how
what?
there's been a
What-
bunch of the things as well where some people have tried to be like, that squirrel wasn't illegally allowed to live there and whatnot. And they're like, people respond with like, yeah, so we're like 20% of the freaking people in New York. What's your point?
Exactly.
It was
Now
it
look,
was an animal shelter.
I just expressed that I'm basically anhedonic, right? I'm incapable of feeling certain types of joy. Great, whatever. But let me tell you, it pisses me off when these assholes do what they do only to stop people from having fun. Just like with the dancing thing. It's this thing with the squirrel and the what was the other critter? The raccoon?
Raccoon. Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing. It's some cunt in some militarized cunt assets who insist that other people do not have fun.
But you know what the
Or
other...
do not even have fun, but to simply enjoy themselves.
Well, Mitch, do you know what the other really fucked up thing about this, the whole thing with Peanut is? The only reason
they're
why
willing
she...
to expend all these resources
Hold on.
to go after a squirrel,
Hold
but
on.
not a fucking child rapist.
Hold on. The only reason she even called the cops, from everything I've been seeing, is because the squirrel's Instagram page the guy made was getting more attention and more followers than her.
Yeah, I'd read that.
Hold on.
Sounds
And that's
about right.
wait a minute,
Pure
Rod.
envy.
Wait a minute, Rod. I said that in Scribe's chat this morning without knowing the full reason. It was probably some jealous bitch that did not like the squirrel getting that much attention, and she wanted, to run the parade. I said that. Now you confirm it. It is literally like you can't. What's the word before? I will never begrudge somebody for having a bigger audience than me.
Well, the fucked
No.
up
If
thing
I
as
want-
well is the guy was already doing rescue animal stuff, so him adding a squirrel is just... Who gives a
I'm
fuck?
adding the squirrel.
I was
That's fucked
blissfully
up.
unaware of this until about 5 minutes before the stream started.
I hope you know,
Yeah, because
it's one thing.
Plague Trucker was saying, but the rescue is completely licensed according to the people. And
Look, this is my thing. It's one thing to take an animal from its owner, and just because you didn't like that guy tried to do in the Central Park, you know, because he didn't like the way she was doing something. It's another thing to have an animal killed just because it has more fouls than you. You it you are a insufferable bitch
well, she
that
since
deserves nothing
shut
but the
down
work.
her Instagram. Like I most likely
She's closed down all of
yeah.
her social media.
I have half feeling she wasn't trying to get the freaking squirrel killed. It was probably just that whole thing that she just thought that
Cause and effect.
cause and effect would be like, oh, just the squirrel would be taken away, or he'd have to do some other shit and whatnot, which would cause him not to have it on social media. Like they probably would have told her that he had to release it.
Most likely that's what she thought,
But she's a fucktard.
Yep. You know, I'm waiting for people. Someone's going to come after me because I've been having a little bit of fun creating. What do you call them? I'm creating Kefki products.
Mm.
Oh, I saw those.
you created what?
Kefki products.
Check
I'll
the
put them
memes
into-
folder,
Yeah.
Angela.
Yeah, I'll put them in the memes
Kefka
folder.
snacks. Well, that's what you call them, Kefka snacks.
Oh yeah, there's 2 of them in there now.
There are. There's another one.
Yeah, Kefki posted one into memes. I posted one as well. Let me find the others. No, there might be just one more.
It is another one. Kefki's Big Apple Crunch
Crunchers.
Crunchers. Made for real Sasquatch footprints. Mitch, can you send me the template for that? I want to make one.
There is no template. I build one from scratch each time.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to try.
Yeah,
That-
Kefki's smack and cheese noodles made with real smack and cheese.
Candy corn dogs.
Yeah, Kefki's candy corn dogs. New 24-pack. Happy snack time. No, I use an AI thing to do the product image,
Okay.
except for the bowl of mac and cheese. I mean, that was just a grab from the internet.
Hmm.
And then, I do what I got to do to make a Kefki product out of it. It's actually kind of fun, but I got to stop myself because it could take up a whole day.
She just saw them too.
Oh, and apparently,
Well, I DM them to her first.
Yeah, not a
they gotta-
meme,
they
but
gotta
this
get
is the
Sarah to
last.
approve it.
This is one of the last things, aside from my artworks, that I sent for it.
Nice.
oh, here's one
Actually,
for you
no,
as
it wasn't.
well.
It wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. It was this one. This one here. Oh, I
Kefki
hate
typed
when it
something.
does that.
Well, here you guys
Okay,
go.
I like
you can
it.
still click on. You can still click on the link and get it open. I hate when it does that JFIF thing.
Did you?
Okay,
did you
for
print
that
one?
one, for the GIF thing, when you go to download it, or it's like when you go to download it that way, you're gonna have to look it up because you have to go into like Device Manager and actually fucking change what the file save is. I had to do that shit for some odd reason. One of the updates that Chrome had, it did that shit. Because I had to go and look it up and I can't remember. But in a different note, so I want to say from what I saw, it was in Florida. Did you guys hear about the 2 pit bulls that caused $3,000 worth of damage to a car while attempting to hunt a cat because that cat
Nope,
hid in the
no.
car?
What?
And it
The
sounds
cat
to me like
survived.
bad ownership again.
Go over to here. Do the
Cat better have survived. Yeah.
Sharing,
Kill that.
cause sharing, it's caring.
Oh wow.
Bam. Yeah, like
Damn.
yeah, like they just
I
get in
mean,
there. They
it's not. It's funny, but it's not funny.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I'm glad I'm not involved in that claim.
I mean,
Motherfucker.
luckily the fact she
No,
had.
I would love to be involved in this claim because there's video footage of it happening.
Oh yeah.
And those are your dogs.
Well, those aren't from what we're aware of. Oh, excuse me. Like they weren't her dog or her dogs.
No. I'm not talking. I'm talking about the car owner,
Mhm.
the whoever she sues about the dogs.
Well, there are no collars on the dogs. So I wonder if they're
Strays.
radio tagged.
Yeah. RFID'd.
I don't think they're strays because they look too much alike and they're
They're also in really
they
good
seem to be of comparable health.
Oh
I
yeah.
was gonna say they look like they're in really good health.
Mm.
Oh, that right there is not a good day in the claims department.
Right.
No, it is not.
And it's one of the few times I know I would piss off some other fellow animal lovers, but if I were to come out to that shit, I'm shoot the dogs.
Well, I mean, from a technical perspective, they are classified as personal property, just like the car is. It's more the matter of presenting what is classically termed on all levels as lethal force against property.
Yeah. And you know,
I know we love our pets, but they're not classified as family.
No, they are classified as property, and you are responsible for them. But I will say this: I believe that property is worth taking a life over. Now, of course, you discriminate in there.
Mhm.
You know, if it's a sheet of paper that someone steals, you don't shoot them for it. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but if
I'm
you
saying
break
that
into
someone
someone's
breaks
house
into
and
your
like
home
whatnot,
starts doing significant damage to your property to the tune of, let's say $3,000. Well, how long is it going to take you to? How much of your life do you have to spend to make that $3,000?
After taxes and all of their expenses and bills, quite a bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing,
Property-
though, Mitch, is
my
once
point is
they've
property
breached
is
my
life.
house, they aren't just a threat to property; they are a threat to
True.
persons.
Yes, and even if they're on your property without breaking into your home, and if they're doing damage, they're risking their life as far as I'm concerned, because they're not going to pay for that damage to be repaired. I have to do it, and that's going to take time out of my life
And
that's
money.
spending my life to compensate for damage that they've done. That's an attack on my life.
Mhm.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Fuck them. Sorry.
It's one of the look, we don't even know why we have the Second Amendment anymore. The Second Amendment is a not guard isn't the word. I mean it's a word that works. It's a guard. It's a guard. It's a bulwark against tyranny.
Mhm.
There you go.
It's a bulwark against all tyranny. Tyranny is not exclusive to the state. Criminal
Hey.
acts are acts of tyranny.
That said, forgive me if I must disavow the extent to which you defend life and liberty in that regards, purely for legal reasons.
What legal reasons?
Everything I say here can be used in court if I ever have to defend myself.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's fine. That doesn't mean that you made the choice for the person to enter your property to do damage.
Right.
You're not the one making the judgment that life is worth $25. They are.
Oh, I agree. And if they say, now the thing, I live in an apartment, so parking lot area is common territory anyway. But if they breach my door, they are a direct threat to my life,
Yes.
and I will act in defense. And I don't even have to act to defend the cats because the cats are so big on stranger danger. If you're coming here to get the cats, you would become a threat to me before you'd ever see them.
Remember the rule though.
Um,
Keep the swords and machetes mounted on the wall right near the door.
That's just claim self-defense.
okay,
But
but
they got
we're
the
I don't have to.
further away from the topic that I wanted to comment on.
Oh, okay.
You guys all made reference to the fact that pets are, while people may consider their pets family, they are not considered family.
Legally speaking, they are considered
They are not-
personal property only.
To be-
Let her get through
I
it.
understand this. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead. Sorry.
My point is that even if they were legally considered family, they would be in the same vein as children, of which you're still responsible for all damage that they
Yes.
incur. So it's
Mm.
no matter how you look at your pet, be it family or property.
Yes,
You're
it's
still
from the legal
responsible for
responsibility.
what they do.
Yeah, no, the commentary from my perspective was in regards to
I understand
causing
that.
harm to somebody to defend them. It's not something that it's morally defensible, but under the current legal structure, it's not legally defensible.
I'm going to say again, I do know what you were saying.
Okay.
I was putting it out there for the people that can't understand that their pets can be both family to them
Mhm.
and considered property to others. That
In
they're still, you would still be held responsible for the damage caused by your children. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and in
it's not.
Stream Uncle writes, wouldn't it be the cat owner's fault, not the dog's? Why was the cat just strolling unsupervised?
It could have
The
been.
cat- It said somewhere in the video that the cat was a neighborhood cat.
So a stray.
Yeah.
The cat didn't cause the damage.
and why were the dogs not on a leash or behind a fence or something like that?
Oh, the dogs may have been behind a fence when they caught wind of the cat.
Yeah.
We don't know. We weren't there. That's not the portion of video we get to see.
Yeah.
And the cat was just trying to save its life.
All we can see is the property damage.
Either
As it
way,
takes
what
place.
I see is a neglectful pet owner. There's no way you
Yes.
would turn around. Brother, there is no way that you would turn around and have a situation where Brody could just be out tearing up somebody's car. Sorry.
What was the next topic?
Have you guys seen the thing from 11 Films coming around? Because they're doing another thing. Oh, it's funny.
Say
It's
again?
from 11 Films on Twitter, to where, obviously they're getting they're starting to mean business when they just have white people in the ad, because they're calling it the MAGA abortion ban, and it's the whole thing of like the Republicans are off. It's like in office, we won and we got rid of abortion, no exceptions. It's like, no Republican says that, you fucking twat.
Nope.
So here's the funny part: is I am. You could say I'm rabidly pro-life, but I don't want abortion outlawed.
No, I
Safe, rare, and legal.
safe, legal, and rare was the way they said it.
Well, I mean, I want it to be adjudicated on a case-by-case basis.
But yeah, the biggest thing is that it should be rare, and people should be, having safe sex to prevent the likelihood of a pregnancy happening. You know, it's that
Yeah.
whole thing. It's easier to do the things to not get pregnant than it is to like then have to deal with the aftermath of pregnancy.
Well, yeah, they keep going on about reproductive rights and the right to or the right to choose. Well, the right to choose is before the dick gets in you, or the time to choose rather is before the fucking commences.
Mm-hmm.
Is before you become before you let some plaster caster go blasting his goo in you. That's when you make the choice. And if you're going to let that happen and you become pregnant through negligence, that's not enough of a reason to kill a baby. And that's what I would expect a court to find if we had courts that erred on the side of liberty. A potential human life is just as valuable as a human life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even a potential human life. I mean, a fetus is a
It is
Human.
an all-out human life.
yes. It's just at one of the stages of development.
Yeah.
The clump of cells argument doesn't hold water.
I love Ben Shapiro's knee-jerk response on that. Well, technically, you're a clump of cells.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a
Every
clump
time
of
somebody
cells.
says it's just a clump of cells, he's like, "You're a clump of cells."
Well,
So?
I will counter with this one. Everybody's a fucking clump of cells. Everything,
Yep.
everyone.
Yeah, that's his
That's
point.
my
He's
point.
like, every time they hit him with, "Well, it's just a clump of cells," he goes to the person who says that to him. Is like, "You're just a clump of cells." It's like,
I keep waiting for someone to argue with me about how the courts are overloaded already. And to fix that, well, we just unfuck the court system. We do this thing with abortion where we adjudicate every case. We're going to reach a point where the courts are going to say, no, we won't adjudicate that case because it doesn't meet the minimum standard.
Yep.
And the standard for adjudication is we always have the exception, the automatic exceptions. Mother's life is at risk.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a scenario where we know the mother's life can be saved by terminating the pregnancy, but if the pregnancy goes to term, we don't know that anyone can live, then we're going to terminate the pregnancy.
And that's
Yeah,
all. And that's also got to be her decision.
That one's simple. In cases of rape and incest, I don't know that abortion is the way to go necessarily, because then we're visiting the punishment for the crime on the result of the crime, the victim of, or not a victim, but we're creating a victim of that crime.
yeah, that's why I'm pretty hard set against that as an exception, Mitch, is because if your dad murders somebody, we don't execute you.
Yeah.
Right.
The sins of the father should not be visited upon the child.
Yeah, that's called corruption of blood, and there's already a statement in the Constitution regarding corruption of blood. It doesn't have to do with abortion, but we can extrapolate from the logic. So if person A rapes person B gets pregnant and wants to have an abortion on that basis, I don't know that we should do that, because that baby committed no crime. Yes, it's going to be traumatic for the mother, and that's regrettable in the extreme, and every measure should be taken to make sure that trauma is as limited as possible. But that doesn't mean she has to raise the child. She can still put it up for adoption.
Yeah, and there's a reason why I firmly believe that if you hit the point of incontrovertible proof of rape beyond the shadow of a doubt, it should be a capital offense.
Yes, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking
not
about you proved it beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, I'm all for life in jail there.
Yeah.
But if you can prove it beyond the shadow of a doubt, there is no doubt to anybody but the guy's family that this man raped this woman, put it down. I'm all for that.
Plus, the longer that baby lives, the more DNA evidence you're going to have access to over time. And that's just being a purely pragmatic about it.
Yeah, which is also where you get into the whole rape and incest thing. Is you are helping protect the criminal
By aborting?
by aborting. You are helping protect the criminal.
I'm not sure about that, Screen Uncle. He writes, what a woman wants to do and needs to do is her option. I'm not sure about that. At least not in every case. I mean, yeah, there are the automatic cases. Mother's life is at risk. We have to abort.
Yes.
I agree with that completely. I think everything else needs to be adjudicated. And sometimes with that adjudication, we're going to have cases in which
This is a topic that you and my brother are not going to agree on at all.
oh, I know that. I know that. I'm perfectly happy to discuss it. You know, and I'm not going to discuss it with hostility.
I mean, at some point we have to.
Discussing an issue like this with hostility solves nothing. We can agree to disagree in the end, but you know, at least we can say we gave it a try.
Of course, some people don't know how to discuss it lacking hostility.
Yeah,
I know, but I don't imagine that Screen. Why do I keep wanting to say Screen and not Stream? But I don't.
I don't think Stream Uncle's that way at all.
No, neither do I. I don't get that impression. I think Stream Uncle is more reasonable than that.
And,
you know, I don't have to change his opinion. He doesn't have to change mine.
But you can come to an agreement that that we can coexist.
The important part is that we can talk about it and debate it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know, he'll have some great points. I'll have some great points, and somewhere in the middle, there's probably a workable solution. But if
there you go, Mitch, pushing for the battleground of ideas. You know that's verboten.
Oh, I know it is. The point is, if we never discuss it, we never find those solutions. That's why that's why my position is abortion should remain legal. I'm pro-life, but abortion should remain legal. Absolutely. We cannot outlaw abortion because then we are essentially murdering women in those cases where abortion can save her life.
Is absolutely necessary.
Talking debates.
Screw that.
Pistols at dawn.
Yeah, damn right.
Well, then it's that whole thing as well that you also have to make the consideration that, like, should abortion be considered murder, or if we're gonna say that, would it should killing a pregnant woman just be one, you know, it's like one murder and illegal or it's like unlicensed medical practice.
All right, so again.
Well, technically, for most states that you have it, if you kill a pregnant woman, it's a double homicide. And if an abortion's not murder in that whole thing, and it'd still even be considered double homicide if, like, she was on her way to an abortion clinic. So if that's the case, then shouldn't it technically just be, you know, one murder and then unlicensed unlicensed medical malpractice?
See, my biggest issue with abortion is it being used as birth control.
Same.
That's mine.
We have birth control. Use it.
Yeah.
And the misnomer of
it doesn't feel
women's
good.
Healthcare that really irks me too. If you don't want to get pregnant, don't get pregnant.
Yeah, it does take more to get pregnant than people realize. Go ahead, Angela.
That's like people saying shut down Planned Parenthood. Okay. I actually don't think that you should do that. I do think that if you don't go to Planned Parenthood to get birth control before you go to Planned Parenthood to get an abortion, then you should have to go through your regular doctor to get an abortion.
That's an interesting take on it.
Well, as long as you've at least went to get birth control, because it's like, oh, if you didn't go through Planned Parenthood to get like condoms, it's just like, yeah, but I can buy condoms at any convenience store.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about I went before I ever did anything. I went to Planned Parenthood and got on the pill
Oh, that, yeah, going through those.
See,
because you can get the pill discounted or free if your income is low enough at Planned Parenthood.
I wish Stream Uncle was on with us because it's kind of unfair that I have a microphone and he doesn't to discuss this stuff, you know?
Mhm.
I actually really wish that I could get him on Discord so that he could do a couple of our shows.
Maybe
It'd just
someday.
be more interesting,
Yeah.
that way, you know?
Hmm.
I mean, because I know what it's like when you're in the
Peanut gallery.
when you're in the audience and you have to fucking type everything out. That gets frustrating
Mhm.
because the conversation's moving a lot fucking faster than we can type.
And because it's 12 seconds, is a 12-second delay.
Depends on what you
But-
put your latency at.
It's-
Usually, go ahead.
I'll say Stream Uncle writes, that
I'm
I
not-
agree with. You get a punch card after a couple, you got to have one. It's not birth control, but it can't be outlawed. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't outlaw it.
Again, my only issue with it is it's being used as birth control. You
That's my
don't want to
biggest
take You don't want to take full responsibility for your actions. And things like, oh, I'm not ready for it, or I can't take care of it. You knew full well the consequences of your actions. It wasn't like, oh, you just came out yesterday and you didn't know that you can get pregnant by having sex. You went through the same medical classes, biology
I-
courses that I did.
I will argue that in certain communities, because there are communities that still, like hyper religious communities, that still have the whole we teach abstinence, not
Yeah, but
But even then,
not
they
teach
teach
that.
that if you have sex, you can get pregnant.
Mhm.
exactly. That's my point. Like you still
but you know-
you have full information.
Some of them don't actually tell you that you can get pregnant from having sex.
You know what cracks me up about the religious communities? The lies. Young girl gets pregnant, so they ship her off to a
On bed.
relative out of state, where they lie
You don't
about
know that she had a baby. She's just visiting on.
yeah, where they lie about the pregnant girl that moved in with them for a little while, and then she comes back and they lie about the baby that she brought with her.
Yeah, it's
You
just her
know?
little cousin, or it's
You know,
just her.
that's what cracks me up.
It's a girl and she
that
adopted.
fucking practice. But let's think about this though. Let's run this scenario.
Well, before you get into that, I was going to say my favorite thing about most of the religious communities is how they try to preach abstinence, but they all know they was being like, they know their kids are being whores just like they were, and I don't mean just the girls. I mean most of the boys too. Like very few of them are not out there bumping uglies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it's more likely to happen in a religious community than it is in the non-religious.
In
Right.
the case of boys, in a lot of cases in religious communities, their dads teach them how to do it without getting busted by their mom.
I can tell you that wasn't being talked about where I was growing up.
Mhm.
Me either. But let's run the scenario because this gets interesting now. Both people participating in the sex, say 18-year-olds,
Mhm.
they both know the consequences of making the boom boom, and they get all the protection necessary to prevent pregnancy, and they go ahead and make the boom boom.
Mhm.
But then the protection fails. They made the right choices. Now we have a case that's worthy of adjudication.
Yes, and
Mhm.
they also have a
I mean,
case against, as long as the stuff was used properly and it failed, they also have a case against the company as well. I mean, granted, depending on that whole thing.
That's not the point at
No,
this point,
but
Rob.
they technically would.
but what's the right? Because even then, I think no, you got to carry it to term, but put it up for adoption. But then we got another thing. There's a whole environment um, that makes things like Planned Parenthood possible. Okay, now if we can alter that environment, then something like Planned Parenthood will simply go away because there's no longer a necessity for it, no longer a need. For example, if men have a non-invasive, reversible form of birth control like women do, then I guarantee you unwanted pregnancies go down by just about 90%.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
and they have been working on the male birth control. They just know one of the last
Um,
studies I heard about, like they had damn near like it was like half the participants had damn near suicidal depression.
Yeah.
well, also, the last time I checked, the form that they tried to make actually caused the men to become sterile.
There's been those as well, and
Yes.
I know there are the, it's like, because I think it was on the Daily Show back this was years ago, so this was before Noah took over and that whole thing. But they had the one black one on there. It's like, who cares? Because you know that they pushed forward and basically used women as trials for the female birth control. It's like, yes, that shouldn't have happened, but we have corrected that since then. So, like, going against the actual way of properly doing this is just dumb.
And see, we starve uh, organizations like Planned Parenthood of the environment necessary for them to thrive, and they'll just have to go away, or at least diminish significantly.
Well, yeah, they've had the places that have had to close down because like most of their funding comes from them selling abortions.
That and tax dollars.
I mean,
Yep.
this is what occasionally on Twitter I will write, that no one takes the abortion issue seriously, and no one does. No one does. It's all a woman's right to choose. Well, men have a right to choose as well, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
No.
they chose when they had sex. Well, didn't the woman choose too?
Takes two to
She had
tango.
Yeah.
sex. I mean,
I was gonna
there's
say, if it's voluntary sex, then the woman made a choice too.
right. But my point is, we start off with this serious topic, and then we go down all these stupid tangents, and we never really address the issue at hand, and that bothers me. Even the pro-life people, abortion should be banned. And well, what kind of sense does that make? It's a legitimate medical procedure.
Yeah.
You can't just ban it and say, okay, we're done. It doesn't work that way. Because what are you going to do when that woman's life becomes at risk because her pregnancy is poison?
Mm-hmm.
Now what do you do? You've banned abortion. What do you do now? You can't do an abortion because you've banned it. Fucking hero. What do you do now?
Yeah.
See, no one realizes that the problem in a lot of these cases that we disagree on is extremism. Now that you all know how pro Second Amendment I am,
Mm-hmm.
and I will firmly advocate for people to for citizen militias to secure polling places instead of police, because the police are the government and government can't be trusted. We discussed that last night. But that doesn't make me an extremist. A Second Amendment extremist position would be, no, you have to buy a gun. You have to buy a gun. You have to own a gun. You have to use a gun. That's an extreme position.
Everyone must have at least one gun in their possession.
Right. That's an extreme
That-
position. The
With
Second Amendment
exception,
allows for the people to have a choice.
say, with exception of conscientious objectors like Quakers, that actually was the law in the 1790s.
Yes,
That
but
was
but owning a firearm was also necessary for a wide variety of reasons. You know, we don't have bears coming into every suburb these days.
Though we are
Some of
getting
them,
more
yeah.
wild animals. Typically, what we're
Mhm.
seeing isn't bears, though. Some bears in some areas and whatnot. What is more likely to come into your community is a coyote.
Yep.
Because coyotes don't fear humans.
Right. But you know, we don't see a mass infiltration of wolves or anything else to just barreling through neighborhoods in packs. You know, we just don't see it. When's the last time you heard about honey badgers taking over Main Street? It doesn't
Mhm.
happen.
I also want to
I
say
mean, it
it's
might
because
happen
other.
somewhere in Alaska. You know,
Well, I don't even think honey badgers are in the continental U.S. If memory serves me
no, but
correctly.
wolverines are, and they're
Yeah.
related.
Yes. Because I was gonna say
But
a
you know,
Wolverine.
you
might-
understand the point I'm making, though.
Yes.
I mean, in the 1700s, you had a far greater chance of wandering across crazy ass wild animals.
Well,
than
that's
you
why I
do
brought up.
today.
That's why I brought up coyotes, because we are seeing a predominant thing of coyotes, of not just being in rural areas, but actually still. God, what's the fucking word for it?
Making their
Urban.
way into
Not making their
suburbs.
way, but oh shit, I can't think. But basically, it's like they're even able to survive very well in urban environments because,
Oh.
well, coyotes are basically the canine garbage disposal.
Well, yeah, they're scavengers.
Yeah, well, if they can fit it down their gullet, they're going to eat it.
Mm.
Right.
Granted, in some urban or rural areas, they have been actually forming bonds with, like, I think it was like badgers or something like that. Because they can use that whole thing of like the badgers or whatnot can dig out moles and whatnot, and if they try to go, or rabbits and anything, the coyote can outrun them. So basically, they work together, kind of like of
Right.
how we've been seeing the whole thing of wolves working, or it's like crows working with wolves. So much so that like the crows actually play with the pups to help teach them as well.
Sounds about right.
Very fair point, Frosted. Question is why Planned Parenthood ever received government funding, even if it was a constitutional right. Those rights don't need funding, otherwise the government would owe everyone free guns.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I think for the amount of money we pay in taxes, they do.
Mhm.
But that's another story.
Yeah,
I
in
would
the
say-
1790s, people could afford to bring their own guns because they didn't have to spend all of their money on taxes.
Yeah, more coyotes, less raccoons.
Mhm.
The
Lots
sad
of
part is we pay more taxes than they did, and they fucking did a whole revolution over 3%. We're paying
Yep.
way more than that. Hell, even per
Well,
the
it's
whole.
because they nickel and dimed us up to this point,
Yeah.
and we let them fucking do it.
I was gonna say as well. That's like per a lot of areas in the world as well throughout history. Like, yeah, there were people that were considered like subjects or almost slaves in a lot of cases that still had to pay taxes, but they still didn't have to pay a ridiculous amount compared to others, like what we do.
Right.
The
What are some more fun talking points instead of this shit?
Hmm.
It's just dragging
Well,
me down, man.
Well,
Okay.
I had one other one that I. Oh, go ahead, Angela.
never mind.
What did you have more to say on these subjects, Angela?
Well, I was going to say that the point that the revolution started over was that we were being taxed, but we were not being represented in the bodies that were made. Yeah.
We're not being
people
represented now.
understand. We're in theory, people are voting in situations that are causing our situation. So it is absolutely not the same thing. We are turning around and voting. We, the royal we, not me, because I didn't vote for either of those turkeys. Are voting to
What up, Vladimir?
get the free. We're basically saying we want the free shit that other countries get, and that's why they're not uprising about the ridiculous tax, because people are starting to realize that that's where the money for the free shit came.
Also, not realizing that the reason why their taxes can go to all that free
Into the
shit,
microphone.
they're realizing that their taxes or the taxes that other countries pay that can go to that free shit is because majority of the military stuff done is done by us.
Yep.
When the defense systems are being performed by another country, you've just freed up your more of your military budget to go be reallocated to somewhere else potentially.
And most of the medical research and research in medicines and medications is done by us to have to subsidize the rest of the world because they go and price control it everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I say? I say let France pay for its own defense and see how busy a week that is.
Yeah.
Because they'll be taken over in 5 minutes, to be honest.
Well, I mean, the really funny thing for that one, since we had the discussion of that, the only reason why France gets the whole bad rap of having, like the jokes of where, French tanks have 15 gears, they have one forward and 15 in reverse, so that way if the enemy surprises by behind them, is because of what happened during World War II.
Yeah.
Because of them using the blitzkrieg, and they tried to do the whole thing of we're going to evenly amount, but they didn't know where it was going to happen. Yeah, it got hit so fast there was nothing they could do. Like France before that whole thing was actually known as a very competent military throughout history.
I mean, you gotta admit that their guerrilla style when they liberated themselves essentially, pretty kick ass.
Hey, Travis woke back up.
Oh God, no! What up, Tragic?
Oh, and more coyotes. Coyotes are freaking weird because they have a weird innate thing that if there are more coyotes, the females will tend to birth less offspring, but if there are less coyotes, they will actually birth more. I don't fucking get
God,
it.
we're going to get back on the abortion subject, aren't we?
No. This is just a weird
look,
genetic
they're
thing.
exercising reproductive freedom.
Except for the thing is they're not cannibalizing their young like other creatures do. They just somehow don't have as many kids.
Just stop getting pregnant.
No, like quite literally, they will have smaller litters. I don't get it.
It's like they have a built-in population control.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Well,
you know why? It's because they have no welfare.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, it was too easy.
I can't 100% disagree with them. I
That's
don't-
just-
I don't necessarily have
This
a
is where
problem
somewhere in the chat someone writes, "God damn it, Mitch."
I don't really have a
I
problem with
almost turned
welfare.
around and said, "God damn it, rotten." That wasn't the point I was trying to make. So, never mind.
Yeah, I more have a problem with the low income housing shit.
Stream Uncle writes, "The Blitzkrieg was fueled off meth." You know what? Have you ever seen the Joe Rogan video where he points out Hitler, like sitting there tweaking at the Olympics?
Yeah.
tweaking hard.
Well, you also have to remember the
You
meth
know
they
that
were.
he's not actually wrong about the Blitzkrieg being fueled by meth.
Oh yes, and the great thing
Always.
is that most people don't realize is we're not talking about like even the Walter White or some guy in the trailer park making meth. Like this is good freaking medical grade, made in the proper environments type thing.
Shit.
Permanent's real.
Cocaine was illegal. It was legally used by scientists before what? Sometime in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken.
Here, literally every illegal drug that exists today was legal before they found out what exactly the side effects were.
Oh yeah, and
I don't think
Yeah,
all
what-
of them, but a lot of the ones that are considered the classics.
if you watch Dragnet, when Harry Morgan was playing Joe Friday's partner, that was
which one?
made at a time when LSD was legal. LSD was legal at the time that show was made. When they had their famous episode Blue Boy.
Ah,
And I remember that episode because that's the one where they didn't call it a hallucinogen. They referred to it as a hallucinogen.
hallucinating.
My gosh. And rotten just because they're doctored up and turned designer doesn't mean they didn't start off as actual prescription drugs that they were when they began.
Well, I'm not aware of fentanyl being used for anything. And
Well, fentanyl, I think, was actually originally. I know it was originally used.
I'm just saying that there are some of the more current drugs that would be in there because like I wouldn't I'm not aware of ecstasy being in that whole thing before either.
It was actually a psychotropic used for therapy.
Is anyone else waiting for the inevitable explosion of the electric
Fentanyl
automobiles?
was actually an intravenous anesthetic
I'm
during
not.
the 1960s.
I'm talking about the batteries.
I'm answering Rotten's statement that fentanyl does
Right.
not have legal use.
I said I didn't think it did. I've been
I know,
wrong
even
on
through
things.
chemistry.
Well, I mean, electric vehicle batteries are already having issues in Florida. They get flooded with salt water and
Explode.
catch fire, blow up.
There's
You
that.
just-
It doesn't take very much of an impact to breach the battery compartment
No.
of most electric cars, and you breach a lithium battery, you're in for a bad day.
It gets explosive.
Fire that takes hours to put out is the best of your hopes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And now because of it's because of the lithium.
Yep.
Now, have you seen the kind of exothermic reaction you get with lithium from a fucking AAA battery?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
It's
There are YouTube
you
videos
cut
on
open
it.
the battery and you unwind. Wind. It's basically you unroll. Sorry, I got the wrong word there. You unroll the foil, and it's lithium foil, and if you throw that foil in water, it's a significant explosion for the amount of lithium you've got there. Imagine that in a fucking car battery. I've seen that video in the elevator, the guy with the e-bike battery that went fucking ballistic
The one that exploded.
in the elevator where the guy couldn't escape.
Yeah.
E-bike battery.
Yeah,
that's fucking
he had
horrific,
a
man.
he had a very bad day, and about the only thing you can hope is that it was over very quickly for him, because otherwise, that's a long, torturous
Yeah.
death.
Hopefully, it was the smoke that got him and not the fire.
Oh no, smoke
No,
didn't have
it
time
was-
to get him.
Yeah, he was blackened before smoke could have done him in.
All right,
Yeah.
so my uncle died in the fire. Now, granted, this was when I was about maybe 8 or 9, around that time frame, and he had gotten out and went back in to get one of his children that had gotten trapped in there, and it was the smoke that killed him and not the fire.
Yeah, but being in that
Right,
type
that's
of
a fire that burns far more slowly than a lithium fire.
yeah, and
But
he
yeah, it was a
also
house fire.
he also
Well,
was going through a house fire and whatnot, so it was most like the smoke inhalation. When you're in an enclosed space and a fire,
It's a fire.
it's a fire immediately erupts like that, it's going to go up fast.
Yeah,
So-
your house fires tier, you basically got two ones. You got the slower burning smoky ones, which is the smoke will get you. If you're down lower, the smoke doesn't get you as fast, but then you can make mistakes like, oh, I'm gonna stand up and the air temperature there is hot enough to cook your lungs if you
Mhm.
take a breath. And then you get the hot ones, which are typically not very smoky, which is why you've only got, you don't have even with the best smoke detectors, you don't have a perfect alert system, because if it goes up fast, it's not going to be smoky for that to go off. And
that battery in the elevator from that e-bike,
Mm.
when that thing burst, it
very fast.
it was blowing out the sides like a fucking blowtorch,
Mm.
Mhm.
like a huge blowtorch. And that's going to eat up the oxygen right away and burn the occupant shortly thereafter.
Minimum smoke, insane amount of heat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you hit and this is actually where the Cybertruck is kind of nice, because it is really hard to damage one of those badly enough, short of like water submersion, to compromise the battery. But most Teslas, single collision, can total them. Any damage to the battery compartment's totaling the car, and any
Yep.
damage to the battery compartment is potentially a 6 to 24 hour fire.
Yes.
Mm.
Because
just-
after that damage, all you need is a little rain.
Mhm.
And once that fire starts, fire departments can't put it out. All they can do is contain it to the car is burning, and it's not giving off too much heat too far away from it.
Yeah, they're hoping
Right,
that
I
it
mean, they
it
need a
burns itself
special
out.
compound to put it out.
Mhm.
And that's I don't know, man. It just seems let's keep it simple. Let's keep it to fires we can put out with water.
Agreed.
Well,
Well-
there goes cooking.
Well, that's like the flares that are used in aircraft and whatnot as a defensive thing. Like when I was in the Air Force and I installed those, if one of the flares were to go off on the flight line, like when the fire department would get there, their job wasn't even to go there to try to put it out. They were just to try to use the fire hose to push it off in the corner and then let it burn itself out by just fucking basically burying itself.
Yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, adding water to a lithium fire is like essentially fueling the fire.
What do you think adding water to a fucking thermite reaction is going to do?
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus fucking
Not a
Christ.
whole hell of a lot. It's a self-oxygenating reaction.
A self-sustaining exothermic reaction.
Yeah. Say you can't extinguish the thermite reaction because you can't. It's self-oxygenating, so the only other course you have is depriving it of heat, and it's a massively exothermic reaction. We don't have anything that cools fast
Right.
enough to rob it of the heat to keep the reaction going.
Plus, no one's carrying that much liquid nitrogen around.
Hmm.
I'm a lot less worried about those kinds of things. I live close enough to a liquid air plant that if that place goes up, I may or may not be around anymore.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Oh, where I
And
work has like I think it's like a mile or something immediate destruction around it, but then it'll go as far as like 5 to 25 miles beyond is where it can send shrapnel.
Yeah.
I work in an
See,
aerosol plant.
Yeah, the place, it's unless it closed down, it's in Wyoming, Michigan, and they make acetylene there.
Hmm.
Hmm.
They actually make acetylene gas there. Of course, one of the reasons why I'm not particularly fussed about that is I grew up less than 10 miles from the access point for one of the largest underground natural gas and propane storage in the world. And basically, if you could get an oxygen balance and a heat source down there, it would turn Lansing into lakefront property.
Groovy.
Really?
Yeah, it's in Alto, Michigan. There's huge underground caverns there that they have just filled with natural gas and such. And typically not something you have to worry about because it is such a high concentration. You know, it's not even just getting the spark, it's getting enough oxygen in there for a reaction to be able to start. So you take a room of pure natural gas and try and light a match in there, it will just extinguish it.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't have enough oxygen to
Yeah, of
actually
course.
create a
Doesn't-
flame.
It doesn't have enough oxygen for it. Now the thing is, you get that pocket of oxygen down there with a spark,
Yeah, okay.
and it will take out that entire underground cavern structure. Lake Michigan will be leaking into Lansing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if that happens, both Ron and I are dead. So I mean,
Well,
I
you
mean,
have to
I'm
take
pretty
into
far
account
from
the number
Lansing.
of people who don't understand why a granary is explosive.
Yeah.
Yes.
airflow, say the same reason if you take a bowl full of creamer and you slow drizzle it to a candle from the roof of a building, you will get a pillar of fire.
Yep.
But they don't
Exactly.
understand basic science. Like that's
Suddenly
what that
burn
is.
through. You get a little bit of fuel and you burn through all of the oxygen
You
gaps
Badger.
between the fuel. Now you do that in an enclosed space, and it's just a big bomb.
Yep.
Mhm.
Same
Yeah, Blaine.
principles, fireworks. You know the same amount of gunpowder is in the firework, just kind of light, pop, fizzle, burn kind of thing if laid out, but you enclose it and you light it and you get a boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm. A kaboomination.
Yes. A kaboomination that will leave a mark.
Now
Mhm.
I did have one thing that and this is going to probably set Mitch off again.
What was it? The
Sorry, not sorry.
the Daniel Penny, Jordan Neely.
Yes. Because now more details are coming out since they've actually put Daniel Penny on trial. And one of the things that the police knew since day one, and the prosecutor knew since day one, and is showing on the body camera,
Is
But-
that he didn't kill the guy.
is that he didn't kill the guy.
The guy was breathing when police showed up, and police refused to do mouth to mouth because they didn't want to catch the hepatitis.
He had a
Really?
pulse. He had a pulse and was breathing
Yeah.
when Penny left.
Yep.
Really?
And so the guy who had a pulse and was breathing when police showed up and everything, they're saying that Daniel Penny killed him before they got there, essentially.
Right. More cops covering their asses.
So hold on. So you're telling me
Thanks,
that
Keki.
somehow he died? He was dead before they got to him where he was breathing. This shit makes no sense. Like,
He
I fucking
wasn't.
hate people.
He wasn't dead. They even administered Narcan. They were confident the guy was on an opioid overdose. They administered Narcan, which you don't administer to a corpse.
Yeah, because he's fucking dead.
Multiple cops checked him for a pulse. Multiple cops on police body camera reported him having a pulse.
So yeah, this seems like a cover up.
And this Soros DA is still charging Daniel Penny for
with
the
murder.
death.
Well, again, if
In
if
what
he
was
alive,
clearly a self-defense situation. So if it had,
Well, technically
resulted-
it was defense of others, but yeah.
well, defense of others,
Yeah,
yes,
so it'd be under
but
the
it
Good
falls under the
Samaritan
same
laws.
self-defense law. Oh, it's not even Good Samaritan law. It specifically is a function of the law of self-defense, defense of others too. So if he had actually caused the death, it would have been justified.
Yep.
But when he released Neely, Neely had a pulse and was breathing. He didn't choke the guy out. He didn't suffocate him. He did not have him in a arterial hold blocking off the carotid, not for the whole time, because the guy would have been dead before the police showed up. No, he was breathing. He was very much alive.
He
Yeah,
died
it
due
sounds
to,
like somebody.
police negligence.
I wonder if cops killed him. I mean,
Not real-
with intent.
Don't know. I doubt it.
it could be negligent homicide by them not acting. He died.
Well, you know, the story is big enough, I hope, that if Neely gets convicted, I'm hoping that a newly elected President Trump will what's the word I'm looking for? Not commute the sentence, but
Exonerate.
Can't pardon because it's can't pardon him because it's state level, not federal.
Mm-hmm.
and
but-
he can't communicate.
But the case could potentially be brought up to the Supreme Court.
yes.
I mean, if there's enough evidence
Yeah, but
on appeal, yeah, it could be.
Yeah, but appeals when you're running up that point and everything, even if they were to affirm the conviction, that doesn't open the door for a presidential pardon because it is still a state level thing. It would have to be the governor. You know, the governor of New York's not going to pardon him.
Yeah,
Yeah, but even then,
Not this
if
governor.
even then they would get it if it more likely with that evidence. If he was alive when I left the scene, everybody confirmed that he was alive, and he died somehow amidst me leaving and you guys taking over. How is this death on me? Like how am I at fault? How am I criminally negligible for this death or liable for this death? He was alive. You guys confirmed it. Y'all administered Narcan. You don't, like you said, you don't do that to a corpse.
You
Where
know
is
something-
my hand in this?
I was thinking about this earlier today. It's something else I'd like to see happen.
What?
I want to see all the non-American and anti-American farm owners get eminent domained and have the land turned over to American farmers.
yeah.
Oh, for sure. Say
Basically,
A foreign
Bill Gates and the
country
Chinese.
yeah, a foreign country should not own the means of producing food inside our country.
No, they shouldn't.
Foreign countries shouldn't own shit related to our country. There should be no foreign interest in our country.
And you know, Bill Gates has demonstrated distinctly anti-American attitudes. So eminent domain the fucker. Screw him. He's demonstrated his untrustworthiness, especially when it comes to big pharma and all that nonsense that went on.
Again,
And you know, when I say eminent domain, you know, part of that is they get just compensation. I'm not saying we just steal the land from them. I'm saying we say you no longer own it. Here's compensation at fair market value. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get the fuck off my lawn.
get the fuck off my lawn.
And then transfer that ownership back to actual American farmers.
Yeah.
Not big conglomerates, real American farmers. Travis says, Oklahoma is passing a bill to help prevent that. What, foreign purchases of American farmland?
Good.
Because that would be lovely. We need to.
That seems really.
I was going to say we need people to start being smart in this country again. But the thing is, they're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They are selling out with intent.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't something they're doing by accident. This is an intentional act. You know, unless we want you want us to believe you're that stupid, fine. We'll believe you're that stupid. We're gonna take every advantage of you along the way on that basis. Then. Kefke says her memory's the butt sometimes.
Our memory is a butt.
The butt, not a butt, the butt.
That's interesting to know. Thanks for that.
You gave Angela an interesting mental image. Thank you, Captain.
No.
See, Travis, I have a weird take when it comes to the solar and wind farms. I have a concept when it comes to alternate energy. I don't buy the green energy thing. I think the green energy thing is a misnomer, and I think it's
it's very much
it's
so.
backdoor communism. I have a concept called blue energy. Now, I developed this concept because if you go up into the outer space and you stare back at the Earth, it's predominantly blue. Don't give me this green shit. It's predominantly blue. So let's, if we're going to try to invoke nature with a color, then it should be blue.
For all intents and purposes, we're an ocean planet.
Yeah.
So if you look at what an ocean planet is, we're pretty much an ocean planet.
So that's why I named it blue energy. And the blue energy policy is you get all the bullshit out of the way and let people at any stage of their existence, your face energy. Now, let people at any stage of existence work on developing new means of energy production. But in the meantime, you also get rid of all the bullshit that's stopping nuclear.
Mm-hmm.
Because nuclear is now safer than ever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got a 90% recycle rate, which means that you can recycle 90% of its waste into energy again.
Yeah, it's cleaner and safer than ever.
Right. And that's not saying that we stop experimenting with solar and wind farms. We just don't make them a mandate.
Yeah.
And it's more, and it's stable as hell, and it produces a ton of energy and everything. And here's the thing. The government should not be picking winners and losers in the energy game.
Oh, hell no.
Exactly.
But then again, that's
and they should not be allowing certain businesses to monopolize it either.
Well, so that's like the ones that go through as well and will borrow stocks from someone so that way they can, go through and like get the price to go up higher to then sell it so it goes down lower. Then all
A
they have to
short
do is
sale.
then all they have to do is just rebuy back the same amount of stocks at a lower price and return that same amount of stocks to that person or company that they borrowed from. That's why the whole GameStop thing was so fucking huge.
Yeah.
That's why the
It was a-
GameStop thing was insanely hilarious.
It was a controlled short sale where
Well, yeah, because they were using that to bankrupt companies
yes, and they were going to bankrupt GameStop.
because they weren't playing ball like they wanted to.
And in the process, like suppose I come up with a system to and this is just a concept I have, and I know other people have had it too. It's not like I invented this. But suppose I was the guy who invented the concept of using your roof space and your rain gutters as a way to generate electricity. And you run all the roof space on your property through the rain gutter system to one outlet, and that outlet powers a generator. Sure, it's only going to work when it rains. We know that, right? But
And if you don't get record rainfall, if you don't get enough rainfall, you're pretty much screwed.
right. But it's one way to generate energy. Another way is if you have tiny generators on your doors, every time you open or close a door, a cupboard, a bit of electricity is generated and it gets stored in a battery or a capacitor or something.
Yeah. You know how
if you can develop enough of these methods where you can turn everyday actions into tiny electrical generation things, whatever, then you might be onto something.
yeah. Every time you turn on a light, there's how the old the little small calculators work with the little solar battery in it. You turn on a light. Why not have fluorine that does the same thing?
Right.
You turn on a light, it generates electricity that powers said light.
I mean, that's perpetual motion, but it's never going to be 100% efficient.
Well, no, it's not. We're not looking for efficiency at this point. We're just looking for alternate ways to generate electricity that isn't,
Right.
caustic or dangerous.
You all know about wood gas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take it easy, Kefke.
See you got first.
What? Gaffney? Okay. Take care of yourself,
Rutabaga.
Gaffney. Rutabaga. Yeah. Rutamonster.
Cheesy poops.
Now, wood gas, you can burn wood and at different stages collect the smoke and whatever and cool it down, and it'll liquefy and become a fuel. And
you can also use the
it's
burning
a
the wood
process.
to
I've seen people
cause
do
steam
it. I've
generation.
seen people do it on YouTube. And they actually, with the fuel, they're actually able to power a gasoline generator. So, let people develop methods and create systems and increase efficiencies for these alternate energy sources. And boom, there you go. It's freaking blue energy. You get all the useless regulation and bureaucracy out of the way. You let people do the thing. And boom, blue energy. You have options now. And eventually we'll reach that point where we have a nuclear reactor that's or maybe even a matter-antimatter reactor or some other kind of reactor that's the size of a computer tower that you can use to power your home.
Yeah. And like with how much progress they've made on them, it's not like you're gonna have some, let's consider like the typical ugly nuclear power reactor like they think back in the day, and it's gonna be right on the water. They don't even have to be on the water because they can use less water nowadays. I mean, it's just a super fancy steam generator.
Pretty much. And
Well,
thinking it, when you think this stuff through, you have to realize that America became the number one superpower because of liberty. Because people were free to experiment. People were free to think. People were free to what's the word? to research
Innovation.
and develop.
Mitch,
Yes.
how familiar are you with Tesla, Nikola Tesla, Elon,
Who's a who?
Elon's first incarnation?
Who to who? What a what?
Nikolai Tesla.
Nikola Tesla.
Oh, Nikolai Tesla.
Oh. All right, so he had a method of drawing in energy or energy and wirelessly transmitting it back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They tested a lot of his works in modern times, and they found out he was onto something. Like a lot of shit he was onto.
Yes.
Like the wireless transmission of energy. They tested one of his inventions, and it fucking worked.
Not surprising.
So, what's to say again? He theorized this that he could put a tower on one of the tallest buildings in like New York City, and draw in natural energy from that and wirelessly transmit it all around the city and power the entire city, basically from the Earth itself.
Yep. Well, from the magnetic field, most likely.
Well, yeah. No.
But yeah, I mean, the dude was onto stuff, and the reason he was onto stuff was because he was free to experiment and to research.
And to innovate.
And he was brilliant.
And he got dicked over by
being
Edison.
brilliant helps, yes. But even as Stream Uncle writes in the chat, dude got paid for the little reflective dots on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the simplest idea that's going to be the big payout.
That was a
Yeah,
guy
And you
named
don't need to be a
Bob who got
genius to work it
nickel
out. You
for
just need to be
every dot.
practical. What's that, Angela?
That was a guy named Bots who got a nickel
Bots
for every
dots.
dot. Yep.
Bots dots. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Road reflectors are called bots dots.
And he got a nickel for everyone that was put out there.
Nice.
And his family still gets a nickel for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
But that is one of the great that's one of the great things about liberty. I mean, I don't just promote liberty just because I want to be left alone to do my thing. It's because I want everyone to be left alone to do their thing, because that's where the great things happen. And yes, sometimes we're going to get a tragedy out of it. Sometimes we're going to get the Hindenburg. It's going to happen. There's no way out of it.
I
But
think
we
we
get
should.
so many great things. Do you remember the last time America was able to celebrate a great thing that happened? When's the last time we did that?
Elon landing the space shuttle back down.
Yeah, that's one thing. But that wasn't a really big celebration, was it? I mean, not like the way we celebrate. Hold on, dear. It's not like the way we celebrate 9/11.
Yeah, but that should have been.
We're glamorizing disaster in this country.
Yeah.
Instead of celebrating greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Innovation. But yes. I'm saying Elon landing that rocket now we now can reuse rockets. We don't have to wait months at a time to reuse a rocket. We can just send one up and keep shuttling up and down.
SpaceX can reuse rockets. NASA's nowhere near as far along.
Yeah, but
and you know what? Maybe that just means NASA needs to go away.
Yeah. But my point is, like, that is an innovation. How far away are we from having a moon base, a literal moon base, a moon colony that we constantly shuttle people back and forth to?
Depends on who's building it.
Yeah. How long before we move to Mars? How long before the word interstellar species becomes part of the human lexicon for a description of us?
I'll tell you what. There's no salt water to foul up a lithium-ion battery on the moon.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So, motoring around in a lithium battery powered car, that wouldn't be a problem on the moon.
There you go.
So, Elon Musk is a good way down that road.
Yeah.
Still, every time Elon's like, "Hey, I've got the new Tesla auto plant is There's solar power, blah blah blah. And I'm like, where do you plug it in?
Mhm.
That's just because I'm a dick. I don't.
But they pissed Elon off when he wanted to first do his study. Oh, well, you got to do a survey on the effects of your rockets on whale population if it should land in this area. It won't. I'm not aiming for that area. Well, you got to do a study on it.
Well, that's one of the other things that's cucked a lot of our innovation as well, is because they keep doing things that are like, oh, we're going to do this because it's better for the environment, and the companies are going to do the right thing, and they never have. Like the EPA saying, oh, well, trucks, to have a specific amount of emissions that they put off of a certain engine size have to be a certain size or bigger or whatnot. And that's caused trucks to get fucking bigger. Didn't help also that they used cash for clunkers to go take a bunch of vehicles that were in perfectly good working order that could have been used by like a lot of different individuals, and then fucking had them destroyed.
Right.
By like straight up destroying the engines as well.
You don't destroy
What they're saying,
what works.
what they're saying, necessity is the mother of invention.
We have an idiot compassion problem. I think that's
We
probably
really
the
do.
best way I've ever
Nice.
heard of it.
We really do. And it's all well and good to be compassionate, but not at the expense of wisdom. Compassion at the expense of wisdom is idiocy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. To be fair,
To be fair,
there are some experiments I don't want conducted without having the person being conducted on knowing full well what they're getting into. I don't want a medical trial where you say one thing and you're doing another.
oh, like the government's done several
Yeah.
times.
Several times, yes.
That's why I
Practically
advocate
nonstop.
that's why I advocate for rational regulation, not absolute deregulation.
If I'm going to do that, I want an oversight committee to examine, like, oh, this is what you're doing. This is what you said you're doing. Well, we got this person. Their job is just to observe, making sure that you dot every I, cross every T, and you're doing what you say you're doing.
Right. I mean, I use food service as an example for for rational regulation. For example, a regulation that says you don't serve raw chicken to the public makes sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it's
But
well
a
known.
regulation that that backs that up by or not backs it up, but adds to that by saying it has to be held in this kind of container from this company.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
ridiculous.
container must be replaced every 6 months. That's where it gets stupid.
Yeah,
If you can maintain 165 degrees chicken, so there's no fucking bacteria, germs, molds, fungus, spores, assholes, dildos, or witchcraft can take place, then
Wow.
But you don't like this four
then
asshole
you
dick
hold it there and
dildos?
you can serve it. You don't need to. I've told the story before. We had a health inspector who insisted we use a specific sanitizing fluid for our dishes, when all you need is just basic bleach.
Yeah.
And it's because, and I'm like, and I called him on it. What, are you getting a kickback from this company? Because every time you come in here, you try to push that particular product. What's going on here?
I'll be back in just a moment.
And never push that product again. You need to push back against government. Sorry, someone else was about to say something. Go on. I think it was Rotten.
No, he said he's
This
supposed to
is-
wrestle.
going to get a drink.
Huh?
He said he was going to do something. I'll be back.
Okay. But that's why we need to push back against government. Travis says universities have institutional review boards. Universities are meaningless at this point. They're going to go the way of the dodo.
Pretty
Or
much.
is that the doo-doo? I think they're doo-doo going the way of the dodo. And yeah, I agree, Travis. We should not be protecting the feelings of idiots to the detriment of others. There's a point at which you just got to buck up.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't like your haircut? Well, too bad for them, too bad for you. Everyone get over it and get on with your fucking life.
Yeah.
It's only a haircut. The faster you quit bitching about it, the less it'll trouble you. And I burped.
Mm.
Somebody doesn't like my haircut, I turn around and tell them I get that, but that it's not your haircut.
Yeah, you don't like my haircut? Don't get a haircut like
Mm.
mine. You know, it's like when people try to get me to eat tomatoes. Ew, fuck you.
You don't like
Nobody-
tomatoes?
You like it, you eat it.
I don't like
Sure.
tomatoes in stuff.
Give me a
I like
cookie. I'll be
tomatoes
happy
by
with a cookie.
themselves.
Mm.
Try to make me eat a tomato. What's the matter with you?
So you don't like
Eat a
pizza?
filthy tomato.
I love barbecue sauce. I love ketchup. I love tomato sauces of various kinds, but just eating a fucking tomato?
Okay.
It ain't right.
My
Piece of
grandfather.
sausage. Look, I even like diced tomatoes, but only, in certain things. Not in salsa, but in a burrito. Go figure. I don't know why.
My grandfather loved raw tomatoes.
Bro,
man.
I can
Stop
totally eat fucking like quartered out like eighths of tomatoes with just some salt on them.
Yep.
that. George
can
Carlin
kid-
was right. There's something's gone afoul inside of a tomato.
So
But
there's
it's a vegetable. It's a
Seeds.
fruit.
Whoa. No, it's a fruit.
Yeah.
raw,
and
raw
a lot of
with
seeds.
raw with salt, fried green tomatoes. Oh,
You know what I say? Give me a burrito. Give
I
me
got a great
pizza.
place for those a few miles down the road.
Now you may want to go get a
Burritos,
tomato.
Fucking mac and cheese, or Kefki smack and cheese.
Mm.
Yeah. Tell
See,
you what, honestly, I want to try Kefki smack and cheese because I know the recipe.
Mm.
Kefki smack and cheese is like your regular mac and cheese, but it's got Parmesan Romano mixed in with it, with a bit of garlic as well.
I might be
You
able
gotta,
to try
you gotta go
that.
find a ferret and get and have them smack your cheese.
I just take my Kraft mac and cheese and turn it into Kefki smack and cheese.
See, I can't do Kraft mac and cheese. I just I just really don't even eat mac and cheese because I find it disgusting.
No, that's fine. You don't gotta like everything
Yeah.
I like.
I
That's
was
the
going to say
beautiful
that
part.
just means that there's more for Mitch.
Yeah.
Yep.
And more for me.
Finally, someone else is actually understanding that. I don't know how many people I've had to fucking tell that to.
Well, people are actually going to try to force you to like mac and cheese.
Get so mad. What? How can you not like this? Because I don't like it.
Rodden,
see,
I will eat your portion of mac and cheese. As your friend, I will do that for you.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can eat my portion of asparagus or
That-
zucchini or
Yeah,
But when
someone
it
else
comes
can
to
take
honey
this
barbecue
breakfast.
chicken strips, you leave mine alone, motherfucker.
Mm.
Yeah, like there's certain things in that whole thing that you expect to be left alone.
Yeah.
But it's some people got so mad at that whole thing, like, how can you not like this? And it's like, 'cause I don't fucking like it.
Because it's gross to me.
Yeah.
It may not be gross to you, but it is gross to me.
Recently, I found out that I actually like sweet potato fries. It boggles my mind. I cannot
gotta
begin
tell
to
you something,
explain that.
Ter.
Yes.
You can have my portion. I tried some recently. And,
What,
and
sweet potato
I'm
fries?
even honest to God, I tried. I tried hard to no, they're fucking nasty. You can have
What?
mine.
Try to like them.
Again, like this shit boggles my mind. I can't stand mashed sweet potatoes. Maybe because it's too sugary for me, but I love sweet potato fries.
Oh, Asiago Green Badger. That's the shit. Sorry, Tier, go on.
I love cabbage, fried, boiled, uh, sauerkraut. You know,
Oh. I
but
can't
I
eat
fucking can't
anything
stand
called
coleslaw.
sauerkraut.
I like sauerkraut, but I don't like boiled cabbage, and don't even get me started on kimchi.
I like
You
kimchi.
know what? Sauerkraut's bad enough, but there's people out there that want to have some kraut, and they just get the go away.
It just sounds that kraut just sounds like a dirty term.
Yeah, it does.
Kraut
Give me
sounds
some
like a
kraut.
slur.
It
Ugh.
sounds like something that affixed itself to the bottom of your shoe from the inside a movie theater.
It just sounds like something dirty. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get me some kraut tonight. Ugh.
No, kraut sounds more like it's supposed to be some sort of slur you use against people.
It really does.
It is.
It
Fucking
sounds
krauts.
like it's a vague liquid that has a rather sour smell about it. Ugh. Want some kraut? Fuck you. The fact the cheese comes in a
Well, that's
package saved that
exactly
kraut
what
is
Rotten
unnatural.
That's exactly what Rotten was saying that it sounded like, Mitch.
Well, yeah, I know. I like expanding on these things. It's good to exercise your vocabulary this way.
Huh, you gonna be
It
some
helps
kind
you
of
stave
crowd
off
about
the
this?
Alzheimer's.
Hey,
What is
don't be a
fucking
crowd
kraut?
about this. Fucking krauts. Dirty fucking kraut. It sounds like a dirty term for a German.
Oh, it's like if
It
you.
is.
I can do.
It is.
Oh my god!
Wow, it took you long enough to get there, Tier.
Hey. Some people
Oh, I
walk
know.
into this. Wait, hold on. Some people walk into this.
Yump in
I
Germany.
crawl.
Tier, take
Yes.
a breath. You're thinking slow again.
Oh shit! Thank you. I was. Whew. My bad. I just Whew.
Dude,
I forget some days.
you hurt my brain.
I don't mean to. It's not
Tell you what, man,
intentional.
I'm doing interesting things with applesauce.
You are.
I know. I'm tempted to just leave that sentence right there and let people wonder.
No,
To be honest, but
wanna.
Well, that's like
No,
people
what
don't
I- like,
realize the whole thing for like the old saying of be there or be square is because you won't be around.
When
that
you
hurts my
told
head.
me that, Rotten, I almost died. I was like, oh my god.
like I have a concept I'm going to try in the next few days where I take one of my favorite cereals is actually Bran Flakes because
Okay,
they're plain and I can do any fucking thing I want to them.
I can respect that.
Like Bran Flakes with cinnamon is fucking awesome. But
I hope you get consent.
I'm going to take the Bran Flakes, mix it with some applesauce, add some cinnamon and sugar, and hopefully make a nice paste out of it, and see if I can cook that up into some kind of a wafer cake kind of concoction.
You probably dehydrate it at least in the oven.
Well, yeah, that's essentially everything's the way I've got it set up. Everything's I could just mix it and it's edible as a goo, you know. Oh, that sounded wrong, but
That's just so appetizing.
you know, if I can make it into some sort of a cake or a muffin or a loaf, an apple cinnamon bran loaf, that would be awesome. I like to experiment when I cook. It's fun. That's how I invented
is
my
fun.
bean feast.
I actually made a really nice lace cookie.
Ooh, yeah.
Just experiment.
Cookies. Cookies are good.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Tier learns
Applesauce,
slurs.
bitch.
Yes. I like learning new slurs.
You know, a little while back, Frosted had a really good corner for you then.
I know episode 400. When he got his 400th sub, I was there. I was there when history was made.
Woohoo.
he
Let's
he
see.
did he did like what 50 slurs in like what a minute,
Yeah, he beat the
and
record.
he beat the record.
Green Badger writes, I always thought scarnt should be a slur for something. We used it as an insult in our AD&D campaign a while ago. Scarnt. That kind of reminds me of George Carlin's joke about a feminine hygiene spray called Sprunt. Oh God, that's terrible.
Yeah.
You know that, or that old joke. What's the difference between the women's Olympic track team and a bunch of pygmies?
Oh
What?
no.
One's a pack of cunning runts.
And that was a pack of running cunts.
No, you don't say the second half of it, dear.
Ah.
It's implied.
It's Tier. He doesn't get it.
Well, with
You know,
implication.
like what's the difference between a Ritz and Ellen DeGeneres?
What?
One of them is a snack cracker. You know, these are joke grenades. You tell them and you let the other person sort of sit there and ponder it for a second until they get it. It's almost like when you're in the car and you fart really bad and it's a really quiet fart, but you can
Mhm.
tell by how it felt that it's because it felt warm coming out.
Gross.
You can tell that it's going to be pungent. So you sit there, you're moving along, you're going along, and it comes out, and so you felt it. So your initial response is, and then you wait another minute or so, and then you finally catch a whiff of it, and you go, and that's when your friend turns and looks at you and goes, "What?" And then he catches a whiff, and he's like, "Ah!" Screaming for mercy. And you're just laughing your ass off because you laid a fart.
And he's just like, what the fuck crawled up your ass and died? You're like, well, I actually had eaten it first. It was cooked and eaten.
I love the silent fart in the car, man. That is the best fart.
I don't understand how I got here.
Look at the bright side, Angela. At least it's not the one where you're where you cut a fart so bad it makes a stranger sweat.
No, we fart so bad it can strip the wood paneling off the walls. A fart that could end a marriage.
You mean the fart that could strip the varnish off a footlocker?
Yes, there it is.
The fart that turns all the plants in your house yellow?
I still
The
think
fart
my
that could
favorite
end
one
a
of the guys
marriage.
ever said for that one is that he accidentally at a grocery store farted so bad it made 3 mothers have to check the babies in their arms to see if they shat themselves.
Damn.
Remember when you find a hot woman at a store bitching and moaning and just being a general asshole to a cashier,
Mm-hmm.
stop her in the middle of her ramblings and ask her when the baby's due.
Shoot.
Mhm.
I mean, leave the cashiers alone. They're not responsible for the store policies and all that shit. Leave them alone. But by God, when you see a customer mistreating a cashier, I say it's open season on that customer.
Oh yeah.
You find an angle and you fucking exploit it right there in front of everybody.
Hey, lady, stop being a bitch to the workers.
That's not much of an angle.
It's in a
The
vector of
reason it's
attack.
not is because it doesn't get into their head, you know? I like it when you can get into their head and do some serious damage. That'll fill them with all kinds of self-doubt for at least 4 days.
I mean, you can always go to the one thing as well that's a pretty simple one of asking them, when their operation's supposed to be done, or if they're still waiting to be able to schedule it, or if insurance is going to pay for it. And they're like, what are you talking about? The operation, remove that stick up your ass and give you a personality.
There was an Abbott and Costello thing where Lou Costello was not getting along with Bud Abbott's girlfriend. So he was playing nice and he asked, when's the insurance going to pay out for the surgery? And she's like, surgery? What surgery? Well, aren't you going into surgery to have some work done because of the accident? Accident? What accident? Don't tell me you were born with that face.
Oh.
You know, you got to get into their fucking heads. These people who are dicks to cashiers and you know, shout at walls, you got to get into their heads and press that little fucking button that just makes one eye twitch and then they go ballistic forever. Ruin their fucking week.
I don't know if I want to get into it with somebody who shouts at walls.
Well, if they're just shouting at a wall, I say leave them be because at least they're not shouting at somebody else.
Well, true, but you know what I mean. They're being unhinged. I say remove the pin from the other hinge. But you know, just basically you distract them from picking on the cashier who's not doing anyone any fucking harm.
I have to admit, I do appreciate hearing things like that. 'Cause I've been the cashier that was not doing anybody any harm.
They lean into to the cashier. I'm sorry that you have to deal with this person. Clearly, they're off their meds today, and maybe we need to call the asylum and see if they escaped.
Well, you know, we need to check the boat movements to Fantasy Island for this app. But what was one time I was a regular at this little Dollar General store, right?
Okay.
And one day they had a corporate asshole in there, and the manager pulled me aside, knowing that I was up for stuff.
You up for stuff? Never.
I was up for stuff. You know, it's the prankster in me, and I love doing it. But I don't do it maliciously unless I have to. But she's like, can you help me out with this guy? He's wanting to set up this display thing for this promotion, but he wants to put it in the dumbest place possible. Can you help me do something about it? I'm like, oh, certainly. So I went up to the counter, and it was some promotion for, hey, use our reusable shopping bags kind of fucking thing, right?
Mhm.
And he put it right at the end of the checkout aisle between the customer and the exit. It was in a very bad place. So I kept I went up, you know, put my stuff on the belt, and the conveyor belts with shit all over. And to the cashier, and I keep backing toward it so I don't see it, and I know it's there. And I just keep backing toward it because I'm talking to the cashier, right? And you know, I'm doing the exchanging funds with the cashier, so my back is to this thing, and the cashier's handing me my goods and all the bags. Pick up the bags, and I turn around and I run right smack into this fucking thing. I'm like, who the fuck put this here? Oh, I didn't say who the fuck put this here because that would have been overboard. I'm like, what the hell is this? And the manager's, oh, it's a promotion for, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's kind of a stupid place for it. And as I walked out, I could see her sort of looking away from corporate guy as corporate guy starts moving the thing somewhere else. But you gotta help your local vendors that way, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
You've got to work with these people to keep these corporate assholes in line. Because the corporate assholes will make you do shit that's stupid.
Oh yeah, well
Because
that's like
they are
even
not hired from the body of people who have done the job.
well, like Monkey said as well, it's like because they don't realize that just because something's selling well in one other place doesn't mean it's selling well everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a demographic thing. When I worked a pizza joint in a very rural area, it was a franchise outfit that I worked for, and the people running the franchise lived in a very suburban / commercial area. So they had all these air quote gourmet pizza kind of things going on, and us over in this rural area, they wanted to sell the same shit there, and everyone at our stores like, that's not gonna fly here. This is a different demographic you're dealing with, and we try to explain it to them. They don't listen.
No, no,
This
they don't.
is a beer and potatoes kind of place, not
Right.
Yeah,
This
sour.
isn't eating a slice of pizza with your pinky raised. So they put the stuff on the menu in our store, and none of it moved. Just like we told them, like, no, what you want? You want a lot of pepperoni.
Yep.
You want a lot of sausage. You want a lot of bacon. You know what? You'll get away with green peppers, onions, mushrooms, and olives. You will not get away with artichoke hearts and dragon fruit and all that other gay ass shit that you people pump up your crock wearing asses every day.
Wow.
But you can't tell them that, because that gets you fired. That means
Let's
you're not a team player. Bullshit.
let's be
You're not
honest
a team
though,
player.
Mitch, they're not wearing Crocs. Those are too lowbrow because the commoner can buy them.
Honestly, this was before the Crocs.
Say,
This was back in the 90s.
I love me some spinach and artichoke dip, but anybody trying to put artichoke on my pizza is going to lose a hand.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe
People
two.
bitch about pineapple. You're wrong, man. Pineapple works if you know how to do it.
I have no problem with pineapple.
What's
I
that,
have no
Angela?
problem with pineapple on pizza.
I was talking to Will, because I think you said maybe 3, and I'm going.
I thought I said maybe 2, but
Okay.
I'll go for 3. I mean,
I'm like going. Who do you know with 3 hands?
Well, he's counting a
It's
foot.
a long story.
Come on,
He's
man.
counting a foot as being able to pick up stuff as well.
hey, I can open doors and stuff with my foot.
Depends on the door.
You're
Basically,
a
you don't
cat.
turn a
We
meat and
expect you to
potatoes-
do weird shit like that.
You don't try to turn a meat and potatoes customer base into a fucking Wagyu umami fucking whatever the fuck that what's that shit? It's not rice. It's
Couscous.
Quinoa.
quinoa. Yeah.
Oh.
You don't no. You don't do that. You have to know your customers.
Actually, not even that big on rice.
Oh, neither am I. But in its proper context, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I am a big fan of a lot of variety in rice.
Yeah, I love Spanish rice, Chinese rice, but rice just to be rice? No.
No, the only time I typically want rice that's a bit more plain is if I'm going to be adding it into something, like some of my, like if I'm making gonna add it with chili or like a beef
Yeah.
stew or something.
Say rice cooked
And even then,
In-
not a lot of it.
beef broth
That sounds
with
tasty.
a little bit of salt and butter, and oh my.
Now I want beef
Or
stew.
cook-
God damn it.
Cook it in chicken broth and add a little curry.
Put it this
Tim
way:
Curry?
plain white rice is one of the rare occasions where you'll get me to eat ketchup.
And of course, I
wanna
love
punch
my
Gordon Ramsay.
sticky rice because I love my sushi options.
I love sushi.
What did you say, Mitch?
I want to punch Gordon Ramsay.
Why you want to punch Gordon Ramsay? What do you?
I
I
have
don't.
great respect for the guy, but he's turned everyone into a fucking wannabe food expert.
Well, have you ever seen his fucking burgers? He uses like
they're
pureed ground
overdone.
beef.
They're what?
He uses like a pureed ground beef. It looks disgusting.
Yeah, well, he overthinks them.
He's British, so they have Chip Buddy, which fucking boggles my mind.
The
Oh,
chip
God.
buddy, which is literally just French fries on a hamburger bun.
Yes. Who eats that?
Children.
People who need-
Somebody who really, really likes French fries, but also needs to claim that they had a meal.
That sounds like the voice of experience there.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually have never eaten a chip buddy. It's a terrible, terrible idea. But
Well, typically
I
those who are
understand the. I will turn around and take a stack of French fries and put some chili on it, or
Oh, chili fries.
basically,
Right.
I will make loaded fries before I will make a chip buddy.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
typically people who are putting like, fries on a burger, it's typically done by kids.
Yes.
It's something the majority of kids have done, and they think it's just the greatest thing ever.
I still do it.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, there was a thing called a SARP sandwich. I miss
A
those.
what?
A SARP sandwich.
Oh, what?
A SARP sandwich.
Right.
And I'm trying to get you to say what the fuck it is, Tier.
Oh, it's just you pour syrup on a piece of bread, you call it a sandwich.
Oh, that's so vile.
It's
It
actually
really
pretty
is.
tasty.
I don't like maple syrup.
Oh, yeah. Especially when the bread absorbs the syrup and the things I've eaten in my youth.
That sounds more like something you would eat when you're high.
Nope,
Yes.
it was something we used to eat as children.
I can't say anything. When we were really scraping, I developed a taste for mayonnaise sandwiches because my grandmother wouldn't.
Which sandwiches?
So I couldn't do the mayonnaise thing because I've never been really a mayo person, other than on like some burgers and sandwiches if I go somewhere and have them made. But like,
And
I used to have mustard sandwiches with my grandmother.
Oh yeah, I remember mustard sandwiches.
Yeah, see, we did mayo because my grandmother and I weren't too keen on mustard back then.
Blah, blah, blah.
But
Oh,
it's
God,
been
thank
about
you.
2 hours, and shit, we really didn't have any dips in this one. We're getting better at this, guys.
Yeah.
I even came slightly prepared with two
That's what I
subjects.
want,
Well, one fell into my lap before the start of the show.
You came prepared? How dare you?
Slightly.
With two whole subjects.
Well, like I
That's
said, the second subject, the dancing one, that happened because of sharing the stream on Twitter. And it was just like, oh. But we're gonna get out of here. Hope everyone had a good Halloween. The election's on Tuesday.
Get out and vote.
I voted early.
I voted already.
Yeah, I
So
voted
do
on
I.
Friday.
I'm actually planning on it tomorrow because I get tomorrow off and I don't want to worry about waking up late on Tuesday or something.
But you can find us
the
on
Abomination to vote in our elections. Oh God.
you can find us on all different
Native
things.
of the region.
Tears Midnight Show has been moved to Rumble
Yes.
for the
Excellent.
foreseeable future. And next week we will be doing Thanksgiving 3.
I talk all the shit I want.
So yeah, go ahead and check out. I'm pretty sure I have everyone's stuff in there. Yeah. Let's check things out and do the things and the whatnots.
With the people and the things.
Like and subscribe and share.
And share and subscribe.
Yeah.
Do the thing and the other thing.
And those
That thing
things.
after too.
Come on, man, the thing.
You know the thing.
But all right, we're gonna get out of here. So And where's my thing? Y'all take
Have
it
a
easy.
good night, everybody.
Bye,
Love
all.
Shake it naked.
Oh no.
Later.
Naked shake it.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Join us again next week, or you can check out the other people in the panel in the description and see us again plausibly on one of their channels, or just check out what work they've done. Have a good week, everyone.